Top of the morning, man. It's your boy coming at you again, man. More content on my way, coming back from getting it on my way. Make something happen again, as you should. Yeah, you know, just another day. Just got off, about to go for a little jog, you know what I'm saying? A little light 4 miles, just a nice steady jog, you know what I mean? I used to say I'm gonna go run, but technically I ain't running. It's just a nice steady jog, quick little 4, you know what I'm saying? Before I actually, you know what I mean, start my day, you know. I just, you know, want to make another little video because, you know, I guess, you know, in a sense it's therapeutic, you know what I'm saying? And you know, who knows who gonna watch this shit one day, you know what I mean? You just never know, you know what I'm saying? My kids might want to look back at it, or whoever, you know what I'm saying? And you know, they might just be wondering, I wonder what, you know what I'm saying, how my pops felt about this or felt about that, you know what I mean? You know, I ain't never really talked about, you know what I'm saying, like, my upbringing in too much detail, you know, but pretty much, you know what I mean, like, you know what I mean, I wasn't raised by my mom and dad like a regular, you know what I'm saying, life, regular, you know, type shit, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, grew up in the system, you know what I'm saying, for the most part, you know what I mean. I still had good values instilled in me and stuff like that, you know, went to church the whole nine and all that, but, you know what I'm saying, my mom's was on drugs, you know what I'm saying, you know, this the 80s, you know what I'm saying, so, you know, crack destroyed plenty of families, so including mine, you know what I mean, so basically, safe to say, crack destroyed my family, you know what I'm saying, alright, so, you know, I didn't know who my father was, you know what I mean, growing up. Later on in life, you know, I try and break the generational curse, you know what I'm saying? I try and rebuild the relationship with my mom. You know, even though I didn't know her when I was young, built that relationship. She, you know, she was a grandmother to my kids for a couple years before she died, you know what I'm saying, or overdose. You know, so, you know, that was cool to get that little bit of time with her. You know what I'm saying? A couple years, 2-3 years, you know, before she died. And during that time, you know, she would tell me, like, look, you know, I don't know who your dad is, you know what I'm saying? She been essayed a whole bunch of times. So she said it could have been anybody, you know, I was on drugs. So she named, like, you know, a couple people. She was like, well, I do remember having relations with this person. Not a relationship, but relations, you know what I'm saying, with this person. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, so what, you was with this dude? She was like, nah, it's just one person that I remember being conscious and, you know, laying down with this person. I'm like, okay, no biggie, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm older, so it wasn't no big deal, you know, that type of, you know, I was married at the time, and, you know, and my kid's mom, my ex-wife, you know, she, you know, like, bridges that gap, you know what I'm saying, with this dude, with my mom, and through this dude that she said that she remembers sleeping with, you know what I mean? I met up with the dude, you know what I'm saying, once or twice, you know what I'm saying, we talked. You know, I looked at him, I'm like, man, you know, he don't really look like me, man, because I don't even feel like I look like my mom like that, though. So I was like, I must look like my dad, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, I don't look like him, you know what I'm saying, not even a little bit. So I was just like, nah, this is just somebody that my mom slept with before, and she told me out of her own mouth, it could be anybody, because all the SA and the drugs and all that. Cool, no harm, no foul. My kid's mom, she, the man's family, you know what I'm saying, and my ex-wife, you know what I'm saying, they stayed in contact, you know what I'm saying, low key, not like that, but just like, you know, they was reaching out to me, and I wasn't, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't cool with that, you know, I'm like, look, I don't know y'all, you know, this dude ain't even talking about taking no DNA tests or nothing, you know what I'm saying, but he trying to claim me, but ain't talking about taking no DNA test or nothing. He just want to claim me without doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? And my mom telling me it's just somebody that I remember sleeping with one time. Okay. So I'm just like, look, you know, to myself, I'm like, look, that's not my family. I don't know y'all. I don't know y'all dad. You know what I'm saying? I don't know this dude, which is these people's dad and all of that. No harm, no foul. Go on about my life. I get divorced, you know what I'm saying, later on in life. You know what I'm saying, I get divorced, you know what I'm saying. I have, you know, 2 sons. These people, you know what I mean, they start reaching back out to me and stuff like that. I'm not fucking with them. No disrespect, or, you know what I'm saying, I don't want them to take it personal, but I'm just saying, like, y'all some strangers. I don't know y'all, you know what I'm saying. I guess the dude died. The dude that my mom said that she messed with, she died. Mind you, my mom already dead already. Now he died. His kids is reaching out to me, stuff like that, trying to talk, this type of stuff like that. At this point, I'm already over it. I got, you know, a lot of stuff on my plate, and that's just not something I'm a road I'm interested in going down. You know what I'm saying? I'm old. I'm older. It's just, you know what I mean? It's pointless at this point. To me, they reaching out. But I'm not, you know what I mean, giving them no feedback or nothing. They reach out to my ex-wife. Mind you, we've been divorced for years. You know what I mean? Almost 10 years. You know what I'm saying? All right. You know what I mean? We've been divorced maybe about 8 years. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? They reaching out to her, trying to get a hold of me. I told them I'm not with her. Don't contact her to get in contact with me. She don't represent me. We not together. It ain't that type of party. I tell her, my kid's mom, I said, look, you need to tell them when they reach out to you that that's not how you get in contact with me. You know, mind you, my kid's mom, she remarried and everything and all of that type of stuff. So I'm getting messages on my phone from this man's family talking about, yeah, dad died, this stuff like that. I'm like, dad, nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not my dad. You know, they reaching out to her, telling her the same stuff. My kid's mom, she telling my kids that that's my dad. She calling me like, oh, why you don't want to talk to them? Why you don't want to talk to them? And all that type of stuff. And I'm just like, you know, I obviously, like, when I don't talk to my kid's mom unless it has to do with my kids. Like, be honest, in my opinion, I don't think she's a good person. None of that, you know what I mean? But I don't project that on my kids. I tell them to, you know, have their own experience with her. But my experience with her has not been, you know what I mean, okay. So in my opinion, I don't think she's a good person. So just a disingenuous, you know, mentally ill person, in my opinion. So she's like, why you don't want to talk to them, man? I don't even give her no response, stuff like that. I said, look, just tell them that's not how you get in contact with me, you know. All right. And I've been explaining this to my kids too, you know what I'm saying, 12 and 9 years old. So I pick up my kids the other day. You know, no harm, no foul, nothing new, you know what I'm saying? Chopping it up. Mind you, she moved 100 miles away years ago, so I gotta drive 100 miles just to get to their school, 100 miles to come back home. So 200 miles on a pickup, 200 miles on a drop off. If I pick them up twice, which is every other weekend in a month, that's 800 miles. You know what I'm saying? If I pick them up twice a month, and sometimes 3, which would be 12, 100 miles in a month. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying, to maintain a relationship with my children. So I'm picking them up from school. We driving back to my town. my youngest son, he like, yeah, your siblings are nice. I'm like, my siblings? I'm like, I only got one brother. Like, what siblings you talking about? She's like, yeah, your dad, I'm like, what? My who? I said, I already told you that situation. I said, how you meet them? Stuff like that. He's like, yeah, my mom took us to the funeral and I said, what? I said, what? So my kid's mom, this woman drug my kids to some stranger's funeral, somebody I had no relationship with, didn't talk to, never took a DNA test, but she drove them 100 miles back, to our hometown to go to this man's funeral, parade my kids around, telling people that these were this dude's grandchildren. Mind you, I ain't been with her in years. I've been told my kids that that's not my family. I don't fool with them, none of that. So I'm asking my kid, I'm like, why y'all didn't call me and tell me what's going on? She like, yeah, she was telling us, you better not call, threatening the kids, not telling them not to call me and let me know what's going on. I'm just like, man, that is the craziest, sickest thing I've ever heard in my life. Maybe not the craziest, sickest thing though, but it's like, it's crazy, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, when people be talking about they keep it real, I don't even like saying the word ex, because like I told my kids one time, like, look, I don't even though I was married to their mom, it's like I don't even remember being with her, you know what I'm saying? It's like when you go through stuff and it be trauma, sometimes your mind block it out, you know what I'm saying? And I used to think that was bullshit when females will be talking about certain shit that they went through and assaults and all type of BS and how they just block it out and all that type of shit. I used to think that was bullshit. And so when I am forced to try to remember being with their mom, I really don't remember that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously I have 2 kids with her, so obviously that's a reminder, but just as far as like, it's just a lot, I remember certain things, but a lot of shit I don't remember being like with her like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not a part of my memory bank like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, come on. You drug your kids to a stranger's funeral, manipulating my kids, telling them that this is their grandpa, this is my dad. Mind you, she has no confirmation or anything like that. Like, we not even cool like that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I have to be cordial because I have to deal with this person, you know what I'm saying, as it pertains to my children. And I'm looking at it like, if she passed away, I wouldn't even go to her service. It ain't personal or nothing like that. It's just, if I don't fuck with you, I'm not finna go to your funeral service. Regardless, we was married, had 2 kids, I would not go to her service. If something happened to her, I would probably drop my kids off and pick them up. I'll probably drop the kids off at their grandma's house so their grandma could take them, or her sister or whoever. I would drop them off at their folks' house so my kids can go to the funeral. But I would not step in anybody's church if she passed away. You know what I'm saying? All I could do is be honest about the situation respectfully. Okay. Because it's not, you don't want to speak ill of the dead, you know what I'm saying? And obviously that would have a traumatic effect on my children and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I wouldn't even go to your service. But yet, you thought, oh man, I'm trying to get over, I'm on this freeway. But I'm like, yet, you thought it was normal and okay to drag my kids to a stranger's funeral and manipulate them and tell them that that's my family. Like you there representing me. Do you know how bored you gotta be to do something like that? Do you know how mentally ill you gotta be to do something like that? Like, mind you, she got a husband too. Like, my kid said he was out of town working, so she probably manipulating and telling. She not keeping it real with nobody, you know what I'm saying? But that is just crazy. And you know, it's like I told my kids, I said, man, you just gotta let people be who they are, man. People are just sick, you know what I'm saying? And people was telling me like, oh man, you need to call her and put her in her place. She overstepping her boundaries, which she did. She overstepped, because I don't fool with her and all that type of stuff. She overstepped her boundary and did way too much on that one. But like, if I tried to, you know, you can't correct people like that. You know what I'm saying? They just gonna do whatever they feel anyway. You know what I mean? So if I called her and tried to put her in her place or nothing like that, she just gonna be saying that you know, she was right, and oh, that's your family, ha 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 ha, laughing, thinking it's funny. She gonna think it's funny. You know what I'm saying? Like on some sick, twisted shit. So sometimes the best response is no response at all. Sometimes people do things out of trying to get a reaction out of people, or not. People be doing stuff and don't even realize or understand what they doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I always felt like she was like the kind of person that liked to go to funerals anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like on some sick, twisted stuff. Like, don't even really gotta know the person, but just like, oh, I knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew him, so I'm gonna go. You know what I'm saying? In a sense. You know, but to drag the kids to that and not even like keep it real with them. Like my oldest son, you know what I'm saying? He knew what time it is. Even my youngest son knew what time it is though, but it's like my youngest son's a little bit more naive and a little bit easier to be manipulated in that way, you know what I mean? And you know, my youngest son, it was like, man, she played me. I'm like, well, you know, I told her, I said, man, you been manipulated. He said he got played, you know, and it's crazy. And that's the part that had got me upset, you know what I'm saying? A little bit upset, not really like, you know what I'm saying? I laughed, but you know, I'm not trying to laugh at my kid's pain, you know what I'm saying? But it was just like, dang, you know, and it would be impossible for me to have this conversation with my kid's mom, because it would be equivalent to trying to talk to a piece of furniture. You know what I mean? Literally, it would be equivalent to that. Because there's no way she would understand or be able to, you know, or just wouldn't care, man. And you know, most people after a certain age, they gonna die on whatever hill that they on. Meaning, like, most people not gonna change. Most people not gonna, you know. And a lot of people call they baby mamas or what have you crazy, and it's just everybody just be doing that and stuff like that, and some people just be bitter and just be saying, but I'm like, I'm not coming from like a bitter place, man. It's like, it's based off of my actual interactions with this person, and the things that she's done and stuff like that has led me to the belief that this person is crazy to a point, well, you know, she might you know, need some help. You know what know what I mean? She might need some help, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, you know, mental health is real, man, and I'm not trying to laugh at that either, though, man. But when people are sick and don't get help, it affects the other people around you, causing other people pain and suffering and stuff like that. But you know, I just wanted to share, or I don't even know if anybody will ever see this video, if I'll ever do anything with it. But it's like, I just feel like it was something so crazy. I just had to talk about it. I mean, I talked to my girl and I talked to my brother about it, but it's just something that I just feel like I had to get off my chest, man, because I talked to one of my homies about it too, and it's like, and it's hard to talk to certain people about it, because not everybody know my situation. You know what I'm saying? But dang, you know, like that's crazy work right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. I listen, I can't even get this person to bring the kids to where I live to visit their dad. Just not, oh, I gotta go out there already anyway because I got something to do, but like, oh, I'm gonna bring them out there to drop them off, to visit their father, and then go back home. This person won't even do that, but you'll drag them to a stranger's funeral and be mingling with that family. And another thing, this is why I know she knew she was wrong. Why not tell me what you doing? Why not tell me, like, hey, you know, I want to take the kids to this person's funeral, or she didn't even ask me if I was going, but obviously she know I wouldn't participate in any type of foolery. You know what I'm saying? Like, to do that. To do that, my bad, they got the street blocked, man. I had to bust a whole illegal U-turn. But hey, man, that situation was crazy, man. But yeah, I couldn't believe it, you know what I mean? But yeah, you know, all we can do is, you know what I'm saying, just let people be who they gonna be. If people wanna be crazy, let them be crazy, you know what I'm saying? But if you're sick, people telling you you're sick, get some help. Get some help. That's all I'm saying. And I feel bad that my kids have to experience that. But in a sense, man, people need to know that when I'm saying that this person is a little sick, that I'm not just saying it. I'm not just making it up. It's an actual factual thing. But man, I need to get over here, man. You know, I got a long day ahead of me. I got some things I gotta take care of. I'm gonna tap back in on this subject again at another time. But yeah, peace. I'm gonna holler at y'all in a minute.